Hey, it's Nina.
And Ashley back with the bullshit.
And this is the Young and Gettin It podcast.
Episode 13.
13. We in there. And it's not going to be an unlucky 13.
No.
It's a lucky 13. Because we're young and getting it.
Yeah, we're young and we motherfucking getting it.
Just like y'all.
Okay, so we want to start out per usual with our social media, social platforms, and where y'all can find us. So first up, we have Twitter and Instagram, which is at the same username, which is Yagi_podcast. Then we have our Facebook, facebook.com/YagiPod. And we also have our email, ashleyandninapod@gmail.com. And lastly, in the realm of just where you can find us and our info is our website, www.weareyagip.com.
Yes. Also, we are on many more platforms. This includes YouTube. Search Young and Gettin It podcast. We will pop up. You will see our black and white logo. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to comment. Also on iTunes, you can search Young and Gettin It podcast. Please subscribe so you'll be able to see our new episodes and they'll pop up and listen and let us know. Leave a review, comment, anything. Same with SoundCloud, Young and Gettin It podcast, or it's actually soundcloud.com/weareyagip. You can subscribe follow. That's what it's called on there. Follow, yes. Click the orange button, follow us, and leave comments. We're here for y'all. We're also on Google Play, Stitcher, and Pocket Cast. So let us know what you think, and we love to hear from you.
Yes, and today we have a special guest with us. He is somebody that I attended school with. He is also a health ambassador, wellness ambassador. His name is OJ for short, Osamoje.
Yeah,
the long way. And so we both attended UCR, and he is somebody that has been there from time to time for me. He's a friend.
Yep.
Nina knew of him.
Definitely friend of the podcast.
Yeah. So we get into the nitty gritty with him on this episode. So I just want to just go ahead and get into it so you can hear what we were talking about.
All right. So we're back for a special interview with a very good friend.
So excited.
OJ. Say what's up.
Hey guys.
How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I'm
How
blessed.
You feeling?
I'm alive.
Yes.
Feeling healthy.
Man.
I'm saying health as well.
We'll definitely do Look at God at the end. We have a little segment where we talk about what God has done for us lately.
I like that.
Yeah. So give everyone a background about yourself and what you do for a living and what your goals are.
Okay. Wow, put me on the spot.
It starts right away.
Yeah.
Let's straight to it.
The listeners don't know we've been turning up beforehand, so we're just gonna throw you in the fire because you're warmed up, you're ready.
You know it. Well, my name is Osamoje. I go by OJ for short. As some may know, that's of Nigerian origin.
What does it mean?
God is given a king.
Awesome. Yep, we know how to do with God.
Look
right,
at God.
All Nigerian names, right?
Yeah.
Something to do with God.
Yep.
But yeah, I grew up in a Nigerian household. What do I do currently? I'm currently finishing up my master's in public health. Yeah.
Okay. In Miami.
At the University of Miami.
Let them know.
Yeah, let them know.
At the U.
No, you that nigga.
At the U. Currently undefeated too. We just smacked the mess out of Notre Dame last night. So
sorry, Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre shame.
Oh.
Yeah, I enjoy exercising, both mind, body, and spirit. Okay. I think balance is very pivotal. Yeah. My slogan is health is wealth, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's very true. And for everyone listening, especially women, we're gonna tag him below, so just go on his
check
Instagram.
it out.
Oh yeah.
Wait, are you single? Do you care to answer that? Are you talking to somebody and you can't say, or do you not know where you at with?
You can plead
somebody?
the fifth.
You can.
Nah. I would say I'm single. I'm trying to put myself in a position where I'm, how should I put this? I know, right?
Yeah, you gotta say it right.
No, you gotta,
yeah.
Politically correct.
Yeah. I'm not really looking right now because I want to put myself in the best position, right? I don't want to be some like
nigga.
Fuckboy.
Yeah.
Some nigga.
I gotta get rid of those like fuckboy tendencies, right? Because I've identified them now, and now I gotta get over them. You feel me? And so yes, growth is pivotal. So I'm trying to be in a place where I want to be a lot more financially independent, a lot more emotionally stable.
That's a beautiful thing.
Emotionally mature.
Yes.
Before I invite someone into my life, right? Because I don't want to put my baggage onto someone else.
Praise.
Woo.
Yeah.
I don't even need to hear anymore. That was all beautiful things.
That was
all
it.
I need to hear.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear nothing
You
else.
guys we heard the fuckboy melt off of you.
Yeah.
Like, that shit
You don't have
diminished.
none no more.
That shit dissipated. That shit is gone.
It's gone. Poof.
Thank you.
So talk about your career when it comes to like fitness and health and, you know, what you do.
Yeah. So
how'd you get into it?
Yeah.
First of all, we gotta know that.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. All right. So I'm 26. I started exercising when I was like 15.
Okay. Started young.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember I was in a friend's like garage, and they had like this like makeshift, almost like prison bench press.
Yeah.
Every nigga got that.
Man, rusty ass iron, like a pit bull barking in the back, like really like a real like scene, right?
Yeah.
And so I pull up and I'm like, oh, they're lifting, and I'm like, oh, that looks easy. And I remember getting under it and I could not move the weight.
Damn.
They started clowning me, man, and I remember like feeling that like feeling weak, right?
Yeah.
But just like so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not gonna forget that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so not too long after, I started like doing sports in high school, track, football, and I had a very knowledgeable track coach, right? And so he was like, he didn't just have you in there lifting weights. He was very intentional with everything he did.
Yeah.
And I became like fascinated with the concept of like being able to just like develop and like grow your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, that's something I learned recently too. It's like you actually feel yourself getting stronger.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting feeling.
Yeah.
It feels great.
'Cause it doesn't
I
seem
love
like
it.
something that's possible, but it definitely is.
Exactly. It's hard to like quantify and observe growth in other aspects of your life, right? It's hard to say that like, oh, I'm maturing or becoming a better person
Yeah.
emotionally or physically. I mean, or spiritually. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But physically, it's one of the things that you like. You can see it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't do this before, but now I can do this.
Yes.
And so that was fascinating.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of became slightly obsessive with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Don't
feel
lie.
like that's what happens though. Once you start going to the gym and you see the results, you feel the results, and you're committed to it,
Yeah.
and you realize how you feel different when you do work out and when you don't work out. It's like it becomes part of your daily habit. It's not. I wouldn't call it an obsession because obsession always has that bad kind of connotation to it. Even though it does feel like it because you're compelled to go do it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just a hobby that you've developed, or a habit actually, a habit of well-being.
Yeah.
Because keeping up with yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and all that,
Yeah.
it's a habit that you have to work on, and you have to
Yeah.
learn how to kick a bad habit when you get it, no matter what portion of your life it comes up in.
Of course, agreed.
And so that's why with me, with working out, it's a habit I've developed.
Yeah.
And habit does have a bad connotation sometimes too, but in
Yeah.
like, it's, I don't know, it's a different type of habit. It's just like part of your being.
Yeah, and it's affected other aspects of my life, and I think that was so incredible too. Like my self-confidence kind of shot up through the roof. I started getting attention, you know what I'm saying? And so that kind of and
everybody like that.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, and I'm getting attention and I'm doing something that's like, you know, making me like feel good, I look good, and like I started getting kind of recognition. And I was like, man, I must just keep doing this. And I just kept doing it. And over the years, it was just so cool to just see how, like, you know, 1 year I was like this amount of weight. And then at the end of the year, I had gained this much, you know, in muscle,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, I just want everyone else to feel that feeling of like joy, satisfaction, self-confidence. Like, I want you to feel excited or enamored with yourself, like when you look in the mirror too, you know, because there's a lot of people who just don't feel that way, and that just, it breaks my heart, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is your temple, you know what I'm saying? Like, you only get one, so why not make it the most outstanding, you know, work of art that
like
there can
nobody
be.
else has to live in your body but you.
Exactly.
So you might as well make it the best inhabitable place for you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
What type of tips would you give to someone who right now is like, you know, not fit at all? I'm not talking about people who are just like their average body type is like pretty normal and they're not overweight, but people who are really challenged when it comes to like getting on the horse and starting to do it.
I'm gonna answer that with like a real African proverb, right?
Okay.
And it's like, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
So patience. Just go in there one day at a time. Look, like, one day at a time. Don't compare yourself to other people as well too.
And that's the hardest part with social media is the comparing yourself to people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, because when we were in the car on the way here, how you mentioned we were listening to 21 Savage, and OJ was like, you know how some people listen to music and they don't know how to separate it from the reality of what the world we really live in. The same thing happens with social media. People look at social media and they're like, oh, this is how somebody's reality is. And it's like in the real world, they're showing you their best pieces.
Right.
They're showing you those happiest moments, the best pieces.
The best pictures out of the millions of pictures they took. Yeah.
Like even workout Instagrams do this. Like yoga ones for sure. Like yoga is not fucking perfect. Yet people make it seem like it's something that is.
Right.
So it's hard to separate the reality and the fiction when it comes to Instagram, because everybody's only posting the best of the best. They're not saying, oh, I was low at this point, or oh, I was broke when I took this picture. Like, because you can't tell that from a picture. And then in their description, who the fuck is gonna like be like, oh yeah, let me add this in and let niggas know, like, let me be vulnerable with the world.
And let people
the way
they tear people down. No, it's not gonna happen.
So I think that's one of the beauty, but also like the ugliness about social media, right? Because now you have like this very like, it's become a global phenomenon, right? Fitness and wellness and stuff like that. You have people all around the world now trying to achieve these, physiques and bodies and live well, eat well. But at the same time, they're looking up to a lot of people too that they don't really know how they got there.
Right.
And so they're comparing themselves to these people that like, man, you don't really know what they put in their bodies.
Right.
Or how long or what their journey looked like, right?
Yeah.
And so some people are kind of like, well, I've been doing this for 2 months, 3 months.
Not even long enough.
Right.
And bro, like this person's put in a decade at least.
Right.
That 10,000 hour rule. Like, have you put in your, have you invested? Yeah. It sounds crazy, right? 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah, that makes
sense. They say it takes
though.
like 10,000 hours to like master something.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, y'all should read Outliers. I think by Malcolm Gladwell. Outliers.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
By Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah, it's a real dope book.
Okay.
I've been looking for new reading material. I was in Palm Springs. I went to Barnes and Noble, and I was in there for like 2 hours and didn't find anything that I wanted.
Really?
Yeah, I picked up a book. It was The New Jim Crow, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, by Michelle Alexander.
Yeah, and I'm like, I definitely should have gotten that. So I'm gonna order it online, have it shipped. Yeah. I like reading my books. Nina likes listening.
It's not that I like listening. It's that I don't have time.
Yeah.
Have y'all read The Alchemist?
No, I haven't read a lot of books. I always tell people like when we were younger, like we used to read a lot. Like in high school, I would go through over 10 books in a school year.
Yep.
But it was just like college hits you on a whole nother level to where I was completely like, and a lot of people don't work during college, but I've been working since I was 16. Yeah. I've never stopped working. Yep. So it's like in my program right now, I'm the only person that works. So it's like it's impossible to find the time to go to work and to do your homework and to study and then do this, and then we're doing this podcast obviously. So we just added something else to our schedule.
Yeah,
it's like so I had no choice but to read audiobooks, and the first audiobook I read was Charlemagne's audiobook, and it was really good.
How was it? Is it Black Privilege?
Black Privilege, opportunity comes to those who create it. And it was really good. It's not like he's telling you like take these steps and you'll be the most successful person. He's just basically saying like these are the steps I took, and I mean the common theme amongst most of the people that we interview here and like that book is just like consistency.
Consistency is.
And I want to your journey. How'd you make it? Yes. Like how'd you get to where you are, and how'd you even decide to do what you're studying for your master's public health?
Well, I still don't feel like I've made it. And
you made it. You got a master's.
Nah,
you're black,
yeah. And I appreciate that. But there's still so much more that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So ending up in Miami, how did I end up in Miami? I graduated from UC Riverside.
Woo woo, our side.
Yeah.
Three of us in the building.
Gang. Go Highlanders. I graduated. I studied history right after like changing my.
Always wondered.
Yeah. After studying, like changing my major like 7 times.
Damn.
Bro, like when I graduated, my parents didn't even really know. Like I graduated.
They like this nigga finally done.
And they read, and then they like they tell you like what you graduated in. And they're like, you studied history. You finished with history. What happened to environmental science? And I was like, oh yeah, I changed that like 2 years ago. So they were pretty upset with that. They were like, yo, did you have aspirations to be a lawyer? Like, what are you about to do? You know what I'm saying? Because if you're Nigerian, you can only be a lawyer, doctor, engineer.
Yeah, right.
I was like, no, I don't know, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I graduated, and then I was like a substitute teacher.
I
wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
I never got to.
Oh, I hated it.
I mean,
but mine was different than OJ's because
but
you didn't do special ed. I did.
No, I didn't do special ed.
That's a whole different course in life.
I can only imagine.
Whole different course.
It's just money. Like, it's more money than jobs.
Oh, that's all I cared about.
Yeah.
They were paying more than everybody else.
Right.
Way
exactly.
more money, right?
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
you get to wake up, or you show
You
whenever.
could skip if you want.
Facts.
Yeah. Like, because they call you every fucking day. You could hang that fucking phone up.
Really?
I loved it.
Really?
Loved
No,
it.
really.
It's like, do you need the money right now?
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
getting by.
Yeah. And badass
like,
kids.
Badass kids. But I did that. The school year ends, and it's kind of like, okay, well, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
And so I kind of was like, man, it's really low point. Like, I had this set schedule, right? Because I was so involved in school. I had joined a fraternity that took up a lot of time, and then now I found myself in this place where it was like, okay, what am I gonna do now?
Yeah.
I had that moment.
We
too,
all
though.
have that moment.
Yeah.
And we
You-
definitely
For a
talked
long
about that.
time.
Yeah.
Like that post grad blues, right?
And
'Cause
your
Right.
parents be on your ass. Man, like, leave me alone.
Mine was 2 years.
on my
too.
head, on your head, like
Yeah.
on your head, like
What are you doing? Why
what
aren't
are you doing,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Use your
like,
degree.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know, like.
Fuck. I hated what I just did. Give me a
Exactly.
second. Hold up. I was a waitress, so I was
Like,
like,
is you
this
doing
money
this
is quick.
shit?
Like, I got free food and I got tips. Like, just let me chill
Exactly.
for a second. Yeah.
And
no.
before it was like, yo, you get your degree, you get a good job,
Yep.
you get the house, the white
Yep.
picket fence, the the wife
Yeah.
and the cars and the kids and like the dog, and it was like boom,
Cookie cutter
the
life.
quote unquote American dream.
Right.
And now it's like,
Nah.
yeah, what can you do for us?
Yeah.
Like,
There was a study that came out that said, like, our generation is the highest generation of people living with their parents.
yeah,
Not
'Cause
surprised.
shit has
Shit's
changed.
expensive. They don't pay
Yeah.
me enough.
yeah,
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
things are expensive.
Facts.
Like, and degrees don't function the way they used to.
No.
Like, so
They-
you have to really figure out what you want to do because you have to really be committed to
You
it.
basically like need a master's to get a good job.
Yeah.
At least.
At
And
this
the crazy
point.
thing is you need a master's, but you need to not get a PhD in some fields
Yeah.
because that fucks you up too.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
yeah, and you need the experience. Again, it just at the end of the day, it really does come down to networking.
Yeah.
and like who you
Mhm.
know.
Yep.
Saying.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? The what you know is important, but who you know is so much more important, I think.
Mhm.
So then, my dad's kind of like, we're having these this dialogue, and he's like, what do you want to do? What are you passionate about? Why don't you go to, my mom had been pressing me like, go to med school.
My parents do. My dad.
And I had worked in a hospital in an emergency room, and I was like,
Hated it.
nah,
Right.
this is not for me. This is not for me. I'm looking at the quality of life for the physicians, and
Ooh,
like
Jesus, yes.
they're making money, but they can't even really enjoy it, right? 'Cause they're
Thank
working these
you.
crazy
Speak
hours.
on it.
Yep. Yep.
So I was like,
Doesn't your heart hurt for all the people you know in med school right now?
oh yeah.
Oh,
Or
man.
even to get to med school, right?
Yeah.
Like all
It's
the
a
sleepless
years.
nights.
It's years of work
Yeah.
to get into med school.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Not
fucking
I.
can't.
It's insane.
I can't. That's why I
It's-
went to undergrad for was to go to med
Me
school
too.
after. Yeah.
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 We were like, nah.
It's insane. It's so taxing on the mind and like just your emotional well-being.
Mhm. You're unhealthy to
that was
keep the wealth of other health of other people, and it's like that's
exactly.
why being a physician is a very selfless decision. Like
Yeah.
you really have to care about that shit. I fucking don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
So-
I just want to be
I
with
care
my
about
family.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
if we want to,
I'm
and we're
sorry.
women too, so it's like the thing that sucks about women is once you hit 35, you can barely even have a child
Yeah.
anymore. So it's like we at 25 are having to, obviously we're not like, oh, I'm gonna have a kid, but
But
we're
you gotta
planning our
think
life
about it.
around what we need to do to set ourselves up to be able to have a kid.
Which
And I'm
sucks.
25, so within 10 years, I need to figure out now what I'm finna do to set my. So I'm like, okay, so I need to have a job. I need to work for a year because if you don't work for a year, you don't get maternity leave.
Yeah.
Which is
So
what-
I'm not
what
even-
type of shit.
Like it's, or I think your maternity leave is like shorter. It's not. It's not
Really?
and
right.
it's already
yeah.
not long enough.
It's not long
Whoa.
enough,
No.
So it's like we, as of right now, not in a relationship, like chilling, like not doing anything. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna need to do to be able to go on maternity leave when I have a kid? And what do I need to do if my baby daddy ain't shit? Because I'm a black woman,
It's possible.
so I need to make sure I can pay for all of my shit,
Yep.
including all
And
the
not even
debt that
just
comes from.
half.
Because I even think as far as like, damn,
This is everything that's going through your mind.
yeah, because I even
This
think of
is
like,
insane.
I don't want to get married because all the debt that comes from divorce.
Mhm.
I'm like, damn, can we just be cool? Like, can we just be like,
Can we
yeah,
just
you
be
my
legally
nigga? Like,
separated?
yeah, like,
you know.
can we not get married and be like, we cool though? Like, we cool.
But like you don't want to think about divorce, but you do because there's a lot of
It
costs that
happens.
come with it.
It's
Like,
expensive.
it's expensive to be a woman. Like you have to
Yes.
think about all the costs, and like so this is like. I kind of understand those women that marry a dude to take care of them, but at the same time, I like buying my own shit and having my own shit too much, because you're not gonna tell me I can't buy something.
Right.
You're not gonna tell me how much I could spend on this. You're not gonna tell me how much I could spend on that.
Young and Gettin it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna go get that shit myself, and you could keep your little rules and regulations about your money to yourself.
Right.
Heard it.
Man, that's life.
I'm buying my own shit.
That's life.
And there's so many of those girls out there like, oh yeah, my nigga gotta spoil me. He gotta do this, that, and the other. And it's like, bitch, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
so he can cut you off?
Like, you want to talk about fuck niggas all the time, but you're okay
you're
being
a
a no shit ass female.
Yeah.
Like, you have no
That's
substance
a strong
to
opinion,
you.
but I agree.
Yeah, like,
strong.
because I have known people like this, like, and
Ashley
I
and
don't
Change.
like
Man.
it.
Let's go.
Okay.
It's like y'all hit a nerve, like if y'all
Okay.
couldn't tell, like
y'all should see the veins popping out. It's like she just hit a set right now.
Man, because she works with doctors, and her doctors are in the operating on somebody's knocked out ass body.
But I
talking about their
hear-
baby mama who took all their money. Like you said, $13,000 a month or something.
12,000
a month
grand to keep up a lifestyle.
He's paying her 12.
This bitch ain't gotta work. She kept the house. She kept the range. She kept $12K a month for the rest of her fucking life.
That's why girls do it.
And this, I can't even. I'm not gonna talk about
What
her
degree?
listening.
I know, right? I know. What
Damn.
degree? What?
That's crazy.
For what? I need to go to
That's
yoga.
crazy.
I need to walk my dog.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, I gotta put gas in my Range Rover that I drive to Pilates every Monday.
crazy.
Right.
Like,
yeah. That's
you know, to keep her lifestyle.
Women
Like,
think
bitch,
about
did you
stuff
go
like-
to medical school?
That's crazy.
I know we super tangented.
We
but
did,
Yeah.
but it's like
We had to. It was a moment.
I'm
It was a
very
moment. Go
passionate.
ahead.
It was really a moment.
Yes.
I'm so passionate
Yeah.
about that. Have your own shit, ladies. Okay.
Yeah.
Independent. I respect
Don't
that.
be relying on a nigga for shit, because half the time he gonna leave you.
It's
So-
good that you're not like looking right now, because then it'll allow you to actually like pinpoint women like that who really work for themselves.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll
living-
be a breath of fresh
and
air.
have a brain.
Yeah, exactly. And living in Miami. Oh shit. What were we talking about? How did I get to Miami? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Coming
fucked
back.
up, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
It's all
Okay,
good. It's
we
all
good.
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 We young and
It's all
getting it.
good,
We getting
yeah.
it. Let's get back on track.
So then I was like, man, I'm kind of in this space. I was really sad. I was like, man, I'm not like fulfilling my purpose, right? All this pressure from my parents. I was like, I'm gonna get away. I said, but where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
And they were like, I was like, well, I'm gonna go back to school. And so I started like, you know, thinking about like, well, I'm passionate about, you know, the sciences and to some extent,
Yeah.
and the humanities, right, to some extent. And so during my research, I was like, public health is like
That's
beautiful
it.
marriage, right? Like
Yeah.
before, it's like the science and art of
Yeah.
you know, disease prevention and health promotion.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, that's me.
That's it.
And so like I started looking up all these programs and stuff like that. I'm like, Michigan's too cold.
Ooh,
New
fuck
York.
Michigan.
Yeah, are you was in Detroit?
Yep,
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
Michigan.
Yeah. New York. New York. Maybe I could do New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. So I'm looking, and I was like, Miami.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
perfect
one.
for you.
That's the one.
Perfect.
And I was like, you know, I like to work out. You know, they have a very they have a culture that really promotes, you know, that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so I had applied to a few schools. I think at school in Atlanta too, just because like
Make it
the
colder.
CDC,
Yeah.
you know, it was out there.
Yeah.
It's a strategic location.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wasn't trying to stay in Cali at all.
I mean, that's good because it's hard
The
for me to leave this
prices.
place.
Yeah, man,
It's
this
so
place-
hard to get out.
It is.
It's so
it is.
perfect.
And it's so perfect.
It's so perfect.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
California is the best state. Like
No.
Miami is lit though because I went down there.
Miami is lit. The
Yeah.
city of Miami, but
City.
the state of Florida is not lit
No.
at all.
Exactly.
At all. Because once you
Exactly.
leave Miami, you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, I'm really in the South.
Oh,
Right.
fuck.
Yes.
I'd be
I
scared.
I saw a lot of crazy shit when I went down
Yeah.
there, but it was
Big
there, I
facts.
saw beautiful stuff when I went out
Yeah.
there too. So
And so I remember getting denied by all the schools actually that I
It
applied to. I
happens.
applied
Denial.
like
I'm like that, so you're one of us
I
then.
applied to like 10 schools, right? Denial. And I'm like, yo, this school's not even as good as UM.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'm about to get into
Yeah.
UM. So I'm praying, right? Like, oh God, like, what am I about to do? And like, it's 2015, like 2 days before my what was that, 24th birthday, I think.
Yeah.
And I checked my email, and UM responds.
Oh, perfect gift.
And bro, I opened it. It was like, congratulations.
Ooh, that's all you need.
That's all the words you
I
need
was
to
like,
see.
fam,
That's
I'm-
all you
Because if
need.
it
I'm
starts
going to
out
Miami?
different, you know you're not
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Just that one.
I was like, I'm going to Miami.
Oh, it's lit.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
And so I've been out in Miami for like 2 years now, and it's been an incredible experience.
You coming
A lot
back?
of trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Stay.
I would like to probably live in, I think I would like to live in like one more city.
Yeah.
Maybe like Atlanta or like New
Yeah.
York.
I heard Atlanta's.
I feel like New York
too.
would cramp my lifestyle.
New York, but New York is so like it's on 10,000. It's just too much. It's overstimulating.
Yes. I don't like that.
I agree.
I've also thought about like maybe dwelling somewhere internationally, so like living overseas.
We're going to London next year. Feel free to join.
I'm so excited. I need to request the days off work already. I put it in the calendar. I'll send you the calendar invite.
Let me know.
I just got into the London program. Okay,
I got you, Mucha. I'll send you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You're doing your master's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm studying at Oxford, England.
Oh, that's so fucking tight.
It's Pepperdine, Oxford.
That's so fucking tight.
Yeah. And one of my teachers, my favorite teacher is going. Okay. So I'm lit.
Fuck with it. We're gonna have fun.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Are you guys taking the podcast out there then, right?
Yes. You guys, we just dropped some information that we have not said, but it's all right.
Oh, my bad.
Because it's happening. No,
it's all good.
It's happening.
Okay.
It's happening. We're going to London.
You gotta speak into like fruition.
Oh yeah,
exactly. That's what we've been doing with everything.
Exactly.
We've been writing it down, sharing notes, updating notes, making new notes, conversations.
Yeah, that's Mando.
So
you gotta declare it.
Yeah.
For reals.
Google Docs out the ass.
Man.
Notes in the iPhone out the ass.
Yeah. We ain't playing.
It's a real thing.
So what brand are you trying to build for yourself?
That's a y'all come with that fire right now.
Yeah, nothing but the heat. It happens.
I'm like, y'all come with that fire. Yo, what kind of brand am I trying to build? Wow, these are very thought-provoking questions.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Yeah, because I'm a pensive person, and I feel like I would have thought out like every single thing. Oh, they're about to ask me this, and this. What kind of brand?
It could be multiple things, you know.
Of course, I would like to like be identified like. Of course, with anything that pertains to health, right?
Yeah.
But not only on the physical stuff, but like the emotional, spiritual, intellectual stuff.
Right.
I want to be a global health ambassador.
Okay.
Right. I want to be like a diplomat and advocate, like of health.
Okay.
In all aspects of
I can't
health.
talk to him.
I'm like, they don't see how crazy I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay.
He just says everything right. I'm like, I can't talk to him.
Right?
I'm good.
Like, fam, I'm trying to change the world, right?
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to change the world.
We with you.
I'm trying to change the world, right? Like, I want to make healthy cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Along with that too, I definitely want to promote like social changes and social advocacy, right? Because I just know like exercising has done so much like from my life. It's one of those habits that not only affects you physically, but it spills into every other aspect of your life. I've learned patience through exercise, persistence, dedication, to be self-aware, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because
so you don't break your back in the gym. You
exactly,
know those people
right?
that have the terrible
form,
no
right?
diss, no
Yeah.
shade, but damn.
Fucking ass.
Exactly.
I be in pain watching.
Humility through the gym,
Right.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if you don't know how to do it,
yes.
ask. Or if you can't do it, just wait till
lower the weight a little bit.
Exactly.
Learn your form.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's me, because I was like, oh, I can't lift like super heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I always repeat it. I'm like, when I started, I was squatting 30. I just squatted 70 for the first time, and I did it.
There we go.
It worked. I'm hurt right now.
Yeah.
But it worked. It's like, but yeah, I've actually had an experience in undergrad where someone who just watched their boyfriend work out was trying to tell me like what to do, and had me squatting with my back completely straight. So I literally couldn't carry my backpack for a whole week, like completely injured my back.
Yeah, she like screwed Nina over.
Yeah, I was really fucked up. And like my other friend was like, yeah, when she was teaching you, it kind of didn't look right, but I just wanted to show. He was like, I wanted to say something, but I didn't know. And I was like, yeah, like my back is broken. Like, so yeah, humility is a huge thing, because also being girls in the gym, obviously they have like,
I feel for y'all, man.
Yeah.
Dudes be sharks, right?
Yes.
So like,
you
talk about all the testosterone
that's bitch face.
You talk about all the testosterone that's like surging through dudes' bodies, right? And then like they go to the gym, and it's like I really like. I mean, I go to the gym with like. Focus.
Yeah.
I'm here for the weights. Like that's the only girl I'm touching on right there. Right. It's like that. It's an iron. I'm lifting that barbell. That's my baby right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's of course you got all that testosterone, and for like the untrained guys, it's kind of like the guys who like really don't have that self control.
Right.
It's like they're on the hunt. It's so funny to kind of just you could tell those guys, like you could tell them, right? Because of course you identify the attractive woman in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And then you just look at all the sharks that are looking at her. So what's that experience like for you?
Well, it's like it's because I go to 24, so it's like they have the regular workout room and then they have the weight room.
And when you're the only woman in the weight room,
we're almost always the only woman in the weight room. And then it's like, especially on leg day when you have to really make your booty spread and split. You know, like your booty
that
really
one
is
nigga
out.
that gets on the equipment behind you, like, bruh, you ain't even doing no reps.
It's like you're
the
looking
fuck you there
right
for.
He's doing shoulders, he's doing chest, he's doing back. He's like, yo, wherever she's at, I'm at. I'm there.
So it's like you have to like basically as a girl. I mean, I just ignore it. I didn't ignore it at first, but I started ignoring it when I was like, wow, I'm really getting stronger. Because then I'm like you said, it's like my only girl in the gym is that weight. Because I'm trying to lift that. Like I'm trying to hit my sets and actually hit it. So it's like, but at the same time, I go to Pepperdine. Oh my God, I've never told you about this. So I went to the gym. They have a weight room at the school. It's a small weight room, and it's like my school has an undergrad school and then a grad school. But you have to go to the undergrad school to go to the weight room. So I was at the undergrad school. So it was like there were the freshman girls. This girl came in with her high socks, short shorts with her butt out. Mind you, you know those girls that work out a lot, so they're buff, but they have short shorts on. Blah blah blah. It's like, you know, you're just a regular girl who never works out, and like high socks, short shorts, and then had the top tied, like the crop top tied, like around her titties, and then like was not working out the whole time, just like crunching and like, I'm crunching. Like
I hate bitches.
Yeah, because it just looks offset. Because if we're the only two girls in the gym and you're like, oh my God, yeah, I'm crunching, and I'm like, and I'm like, you know, like really like breathing hard, sweating hard, and like it just leaves that impression of just like there's girls that do come to the gym to get looked at. And then but it's like they come to the gym to get looked at, so then guys start to think like, oh well, you know, this is where I meet girls at. And then it makes girls that take this gym serious look bad. And it's like that pressure that girls have. I don't have that pressure, but I know because I used to, of that pressure of like, oh, I need to still look cute while I'm doing it. That don't exist anymore. But there's that pressure. That's why no girls go in the weight room, because they're sitting there like, oh, like I ain't finna look cute. Go ahead.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there ever an appropriate time to get at a woman in the gym?
It's all about delivery.
Yeah.
It's all delivery. That's
Really?
it.
And if she's in the middle of a sprint, like I have been before, I've been in the middle of sprinting and somebody has come to talk
Don't
to
talk
me.
to me.
Really?
The fuck are you talking to me right now for?
I can't breathe.
And I looked at him like, you see that I'm in the middle of like running full out and you're trying to come talk to me.
Really?
Wait till I rest. If it's
and
that
like
serious.
I tell him right away I have a boyfriend, and he's like, oh well, if you ever break up with him. I was like, what? I was like, you that nigga? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right. Like, leave me alone.
That's a whole nother conversation to just the shit we hear from niggas.
Yeah.
We need to have an episode of that alone. Like, we can have a whole episode about the shit that niggas have said to us.
Oh, you can't have friends, though?
Because it's interesting, like, yeah, you get hit up on, like, your DMs and, like, people are looking at your body and saying stuff. But it's like being a woman and having just a vagina. Because men are like, yeah, she has a vagina, which means I can bust a nut. So, yeah. So it's like the different millions of different ways that we have been hit on since we grew titties, basically.
I never had any. So when I got asked.
I mean, you got titties, like you have. There's boobs there. They exist. You know. I mean,
you got a feminine figure.
Yeah, you have.
I made it.
Yeah, you have a shape.
I had to.
She had a shape in high school. She was called Big Booty Ashley. Yeah, because her ass was huge.
Really?
Like before she started working out, so her ass transformed into muscle. But she used to just have a fat ass.
Yeah,
like
I had like double A's and then this big old fat
booty.
ass. It didn't make any sense.
Big old booty and a small waist with no working out, like just Big Booty Ashley.
Yeah, and I ate pizza every day.
Yeah. Like I always when it goes back to fitness also, this ties in because I always tell her like there's those people who are just like they ate a lot as children or maybe their parents, because I was chubby as a child but I calmed down when I got older. There's people who like ate a lot and became like what quote unquote fat or quote unquote obese. There's people like me who I can get up to, I mean I could weigh a lot if I wanted to. The highest weight I was at was 190 pounds. But my body is proportional, so I've never been.
And you're taller though too.
Yeah,
and you also have to take into consideration bone mineral density, like a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
yeah, see, I didn't even know about that. Let me know
right
what is that.
Can I measure the density of my bone?
Yeah, so
I might be skinnier than I think.
Yeah, so that's like BMI and all that stuff. Yeah. I hate that stuff. Like I hate that stuff because they don't really take into account, like for instance, like you know genetics or like you know of course like. You know, Pacific Islanders or like Samoans and Tongans, right? They have like a predisposition to be a little bit like
bigger
firmer,
and taller and
exactly,
like,
as opposed to like you know maybe like you know Southeast Asian or Asian, right? Who might be a little bit like smaller. So just
Yeah, like I
hate being myself. Like,
I have Chinese people in all, like I'm the only American in all of my classes right now. I know that will change eventually, but my program just has Chinese people from China, and it's like they're in class every day drinking Coke, like everyday Coke. You know, like
That's terrible.
Every day fattening, and I'm like, you guys are just tiny.
Like they're
people.
skinny fat. Yeah,
they're skinny fat.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're unhealthy.
That's exactly it. They're
fat.
skinny fat, and I'm like, I'm sitting here in the gym every day, and I'm like, I'm bigger than all of y'all, like you know, and it's just like, oh man, like that predisposition. I always wonder when it comes to Nigerian, because I don't really know. Like my dad said, my body came from my dad's side of the family, but I'm just like, I don't really know. I don't know what a Nigerian body type is, so I don't really know like what is it.
I don't know either. I think it's fascinating though. Like once you like for instance, my cousins. Right? I have cousins who've now migrated to the States, male cousins who were mad skinny and started like to adopt the lifestyle, right? Started eating a lot more like protein and stuff like that, and they just like blew up.
Are
like,
they fat or swole?
No, they're healthy. They healthy.
Okay.
Wow.
Like they're healthy.
So
I think I don't know. I feel like with the proper nutrition and dieting and stuff like that, like
I'm trying to
I don't know,
just
like,
get rid of the stomach. What tips do you have for people trying to get rid of their stomach? Obviously,
diet. Like,
see, I be telling everybody food is key.
Food, it's a major key, right? It's like
as I sip my Hennessy and lemonade.
it's like the building blocks, like you know what I'm saying, like diet is so pivotal.
I have a crazy cravings.
What about diet in the African American community? Like, I know you said you want to change the world.
Yeah.
How do you think we tackle that? Because that's the main reason we have a lot of the health.
We got soul food.
It's tricky, right? Because there's not only like it's not just food. It's like there's a very like sentimental attachment to the diet, right?
That's so, very true.
Yeah, it's not just not food. Like it's like, well, my grandfather, my grandmother made it like this, and their great grandfather, you know what I'm saying, and like we made it and we ate it like this. And so almost to like it's kind of almost perceived to reject that diet is almost to reject a piece of you and
like your
history
culture
and that culture, right? But it's also important to understand that like those some of the food, like I think. Like I'm not too familiar with soul food. Again, I grew up in a Nigerian household.
Grease,
so like
mac and cheese,
like pig feet or like you know what I'm saying, like stuff
I've
like
had
that.
pig feet. It's kind of bomb.
Really? Is it good?
Yeah, it's kind of good. I had it with okra soup actually.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the times, like it was just like you had like people just being very creative with very little. What they had, like very little.
Slave food.
Exactly. It was just like, well, I got this, and this. Let me make a fire meal with whatever.
That's how chitlins came to be.
Yeah,
that's
got what we got.
Interesting. I heard those. I've actually never had chitlins. Have you had chitlins?
I've never had chitlins.
I've had chitlins because I'm definitely like very black, and my family's like from the South on my dad's side. So I've had chitlins.
Ashley's country, low key.
I'm definitely country.
Really?
Yeah, low key. She said, "Remember my line?"
Yeah.
She had some country moments when we were growing up. She was like, "Why he gotta be sexing her?" And we were like, "Sexing, bitch? Bitch, were we born in the same year?" She says sexing.
My parents are older too.
She's country.
So like,
her daddy is country.
Yeah, my dad's country, so I like inherently it rubs off on me that I'm a little country. Like, and sometimes I do say things and I have a country accent. It's because of my dad.
Country shit.
Yeah.
She's country.
Yeah. So I've had a fair amount of like the soul food, but me growing up, I had a different mentality. Like, so a lot of people don't know this. Like my sister that's closest to me, she's 3 years older than me. She's overweight and she's like been overweight her whole life. And I remember my mom and my sister used to be so hard on her about her weight. And I was just like, I don't ever want to have them pick on me like that.
Yeah.
Like, so I started adopting food habits that were healthy earlier. Just because I never wanted to encounter that problem. Like still now, like I deal with it like I never want to be overweight. And that's kind of why like I'm self-conscious. Yeah. It's because I'm so self-conscious and so hard on myself about certain things. Like, and so I try to eat healthy all the time and I don't eat fried foods. I stopped eating fried foods a long time ago. I stopped drinking soda a long time ago.
Soda's gone.
Like my mom, she would fry chicken and bake me chicken on the side because she knew I wasn't going to eat the fried chicken.
Love.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because like I have allergies too, so she was always used to making me a whole different meal.
Yeah.
So like early on, I adopted like I'm not eating unhealthy because I don't want anybody to pick.
She started pretty early because I remember you started running senior year, right? Or was it earlier?
It was
because I remember you were running
earlier, and then senior year I didn't have a first period, so I would wake up early and I would work out before I went to school.
Yeah.
Every day I would wake up and I would run for like 30 minutes before I went to school.
Yeah, I remember that.
Interesting.
Yeah, she adopted it early. Like you know what makes it really hard for me is that people accept me at the body weight that I'm at right now. You know, does that make sense? Like
people tell you poppin'?
I look good.
Yeah.
People keep telling me I look good.
Yeah.
Stop.
Stop. Exactly. And I think because, again, like, you have a taller frame, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to kind of, like, I don't know, quote unquote mask it or whatever it is. Like it doesn't show as opposed exactly.
Yeah, if I mentioned my weight, people would be like,
no, because people always think they're like, oh, you weigh 120, right? I'm like, if I weighed 120, I would look anorexic.
I would look skinny as shit.
I would look sick as shit because I've weighed that before and I've seen pictures of myself and I was like, why didn't anybody tell me I looked anorexic?
If I may interject though.
Yeah, go ahead.
And for everyone listening, I don't want people to get caught up in weight. Right?
Don't. I tell everybody all the time. Don't weigh yourself.
Don't weigh yourself. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's so concerned with those numbers. Of course, I mean, if you're morbidly obese, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But if you are my 600-pound line.
Yeah, of course. And then it's like, okay, maybe we should like quantify that stuff. But otherwise, you should be more concerned of how you look, how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Okay, I need to stop weighing
and
myself.
I'm the second. He's the second person that's told you that because I told you a black ass.
She told me to stop weighing myself a long time
ago.
So
many times.
I weigh myself multiple times a day.
You know when I weigh myself? I weigh myself when I go to the doctor's office. That's it. I don't even know how much I weigh right now.
I know how much
I just know I'm
around
like 140, 150. That's it.
Now, when I was doing a competition, and I
went to ask about that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I did a competition, that was probably the only time I was very, very cognizant of my weight because they literally do weigh-ins and you cannot hop on stage unless you weigh a certain amount of weight.
Right.
But otherwise, I don't pay attention to weight. I look at like, I look like this or I don't look like that, or you know what I'm saying. But the weight, you'll mess it. Yeah, you'll just be living in your head. Yeah.
You'll be so disappointed in yourself. Like you'll be making gains, you'll be changing your body, you'll be getting better.
Yes, muscle weighs more than fat.
Yep. Yeah. And you get on that scale and you're like, how was I 140 yesterday? I'm 145 today. You know? And it's like it fucks up everything and it makes you lose your confidence in yourself and it makes you lose motivation. That's why I stopped weighing myself.
It does something else because like I told you, I plateaued like a little while ago because I got slammed. Like I've had midterms exam. I have an exam like every week. It's kind of ridiculous.
When you say plateau, what do you mean?
Plateaued as in my weight has plateaued.
Like
so I'm not losing weight or gaining weight.
Got it.
I actually just lost a pound, but I told Ashley, I was like, I didn't lose weight. I gained fat and lost muscle. That's what happened. Because like I'm eating trash right now. Cravings. I'm gonna stop. I'm with the note on the side that I'm gonna stop, and I need to stop weighing myself because it's like my weight is not representing what's happening with my body, and my stomach like bloated more even though I lost weight. So it's like I'm still gaining trash and fat in my body and just bloating in general. But I think that's something that like people do a lot. People do weigh in a lot because it just shows like you lost more of your body.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of hard. Like, what advice would you give to people who are like,
how do you quantify success when it comes to working out?
Damn, what fire. Again, I think it's just it's logging out of Instagram, right? So not comparing yourself to like the person with the hundreds of thousands of followers or the millions of followers. Looking at who you were 6 months ago, 7 months, like a year ago, right?
True that.
And saying like, well, dang, if I look better than that, then I made progress.
So progress pictures are key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to look at pictures. Yeah, I like to look at pictures of myself.
But
like,
for personal use, not just for like, oh, I'm boasting for the gram.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Not just flexing for the gram. Yeah. Of course, I mean you it's tricky, right? Because some people take it as inspiration. Like, wow, I never knew. Like, for instance, I was like a stick. Yeah. Right. And so when I show people like, okay, this is what I look like 10 years later, they're like, oh, wow, really? Yeah. That's inspiring. Also, I had no idea it takes that amount of time because for some reason people kind of think like, oh, well, 6 months to a year and I'm going to have this like this physique that I've always envisioned or dreamed of. Yeah. It's like you'll look better, but you might not have.
You're not going to be at that ultimate 10-year goal. Yeah. And that's another thing that's hard for women because we watch men work out and we're like, nigga, did you just gain muscles overnight? Like guys seem to be gaining muscle faster than women gain. Yeah. Because we'll be hitting it in the gym and it's like, damn, y'all like we'll know people who just started and they look good after like a month or two.
Okay, so my body's kind of like that now too though. But
your metabolism.
It's my metabolism and I know what to eat, how to lift, how to work out, so I could attain those results fast. Because like if I feel a little bit of something down here in my stomach, like that's like my most conscious part, and that's why I said earlier I don't like showing my whole stomach. So I know this down here.
But your stomach's cool.
Thank you.
I was like, what are you talking about?
For the listeners who can't see your stomach. It's cool.
It's not where I want it to be right now, guys. Okay, I have goals and it's not there.
Heard you.
But I just know what exercises to do and how to eat and like what I need to do to change my body in like a week. So, and
it works for some people like that. It does work.
Like I know I'm an exception, but for me that's how it works. It's like in a week I could trim like the fat if I need to, because I know where I was fucking up in my diet and just in my habits in general, and it's like I need to change that.
What would both of y'all say for people like me who are like the cravings are intense?
Give into them with a schedule.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's a good
point.
That's
what I do.
Like schedule your cravings.
Yeah, like I might allocate like a day, right? Where like usually like weekends, I might be a little bit more lax. But at the same time, I had so many restrictions when I was growing up, kind of like Ashley alluded to earlier. Like I was allergic to this, I was allergic to that. So like not eating certain things isn't really like it doesn't really feel like I'm depriving myself, right? Because from such a young age I couldn't eat a lot of stuff that like all my my friends were eating and stuff like that. But with that being said, I think just it's balance, man. It's balance.
It's definitely balance.
And then like replacing, for instance, if I have like I love sugars, right? I love candy.
You telling me?
I love candy. So it's like I want something sweet. I'm gonna just what's a good alternative, like fruits? Yeah. You know, or I kind of want something fatty. I'm looking out for good fats, avocados, you know, peanut butter, almond butter. I'm spraying it on like on rice cakes. You know,
Ashley told me to get some rice cakes,
man,
too.
35
rice
calories.
Cakes is the business.
Rice calorie, like they have, bro.
They got flavors.
Flavors.
I used to buy those all.
Damn, I need to get on it
all the time.
I don't really like the cheddar, and like they be going a little too crazy now. I get the plain, lightly salted. Chocolate's
plain,
fire.
Chocolate's fire.
Chocolate or plain, and I'll either put yogurt on top or peanut butter. It's all equally as good. Like yogurt, yogurt with fruit on top, the biz.
Bomb.
And honestly, just like for a mental health tip, like keeping your memory and all that thing, blueberries have been like proven to help with your memory.
Wow.
I honestly
he didn't say sucks, he said sus. That's my life.
This is my advice to you. Get blueberries, frozen ones, put them in your oatmeal. I used to drink blueberry smoothies with my protein every day.
Gains.
Like Gains is real out here. I'm finally learned how to grow my booty.
Okay. Because I really lost weight and lost my ass, and I was pissed.
And I keep telling her it's gonna come back. She's not.
Yeah,
listening.
it'll come back.
It came back a little bit. I got the little bump. I got the and you gotta just twerk a little bit too, because people think twerking don't help.
No,
twerking
it works it out.
It
works it out.
Yeah.
And squats are the ultimate way to get your ass.
Yes.
Lunges.
Yes. Hip raises.
Hey, I have been doing lunges so much, and that's when I noticed the gains. My hamstrings are popping, my booty's popping.
Yeah.
Like I even have like the little dips
right
here.
Yep, because that core stability.
Yep. And then I do overhead lunges too. Yep.
You know it. You got it.
Yeah. But I thought about something way earlier and never asked, because as a black man and as a man in general, it's hard to be vulnerable and it's hard to be emotional. And you say you want to strive for emotional health, emotional wealth, emotional greatness, all those things. So how do you balance being a man, being black, and channeling your emotions without people being like, oh, he a Drake ass nigga? Because that's what everybody says about every black
Drake
man that has
collects
emotions.
purses. Did you know that?
Yeah, Birkin bag.
He collects Birkin bags.
And so I kind of looked up. I was like, why would anyone collect? I know we can distract
Birkin bags.
Why would anyone collect Birkin bags? Fam, I looked up Birkin bags.
They're expensive as shit.
They're like 100,000.
Yes, and they don't lose value.
I don't ever want one.
He's buying cars and just keeping them.
I don't ever want one.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He said for my future wife.
That's insane. But I'm past the point. I think that's because like for a long time black men were like stripped of their masculinity, or that masculinity was challenged, right? And so there was like always this kind of gripe and this effort to like, you know, assert their masculinity, and you know, in most times it's hyper masculine, right?
Right.
So of course, you know, you deny your emotions, you deny your vulnerability, you deny all those kind of things. For me, it's like it's never felt right or natural or organic.
Yeah.
Although I probably have been, I've tried it and it just didn't feel right. And again, I think I also have the luxury because of my physique. No one's ever coming for my masculinity or my, you know, my sexuality or anything like that. Because it's like, I might sing R&B all day and stuff like that. It's like, who's gonna call me soft? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, I mean,
somebody want to get their ass beat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, exactly, and not like I'm even that type of aggressive dude, but it's like they look at me and it's like, oh nah, old Brett's like definitely like that's a man's man. You know what I'm saying? So like I kind of have that luxury, I guess. So I really can't. I know
you started at 15, so it's kind of like
So I can speak from personal experience. But yeah, I don't know.
Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt the show very quickly to bring to you a Black business shout. So this week we have KD Hair Care Supply, Limited Liability Company, LLC for short. And the two owners are sisters. They are Kiana, who was 21, and Kayla, 19. When I found this article, I'm not sure if their age changed now because I found it a little while ago. But they are African-American women, and they own a beauty supply store in Moreno Valley, California. And that is awesome. We always talk about how the beauty supply stores are usually run by Asian people or people from Asian descent or people that just are not Black people. Right. So here we have two sisters that are running a Black-owned beauty supply store in Moreno Valley. So it is within reach. And they have a website, which is kdhaircare.com, and that's K as in like kite and D as in David, haircare.com. And on their website, they have hair products, extensions, styling tools, hair tips, braids, cosmetics, and they even have like their media on here as well. So you can see pictures and photos and videos on there. Pictures, photos, and videos, guys. And
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, and they just recently got cosmetics. So they basically are a well-rounded store. It's Black owned. You know that you're supporting. And they have pretty good reviews when I looked them up. So go ahead and check them out. They're based in Moreno Valley, California. I actually have the address. So it's 2445 Sunny Mead Boulevard, Moreno Valley, California, 92553. So if you're ever in the area, stop by and support. They're sisters and you know they're Black, so we gotta hold it down. Back to our regularly scheduled program. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. We have a special guest that joined us during our short break. She was previously on the show, and here she is again, Osamoje, who we love so much.
Hello.
Yeah. OJ still in the building, too. And Osamoje and I were talking, and she had a very good question. She kind of said my idea better than I could say it myself, so I'm going to let her go ahead and ask the question. You know,
let her join the conversation.
Let the interviewee do the interview.
Yeah.
So one thing we were kind of talking about was we were trying to ask, since you're promoting this whole sense of emotional well-being, how do you as a Black man in America balance emotional well-being and emotional health in terms of how you convey those things without coming off as too vulnerable or coming off like a bitch nigga, basically?
A Drake ass as we like to say.
Again, as previously mentioned, I think I'm afforded like a certain luxury because of my physique. So I don't think I'm perceived by others. Okay, I don't think I'm perceived by others. Yeah.
You get a difference.
Taking control too. You better be assertive, girl.
Ain't no way to be.
All right, let me relax.
Yeah, no other way to be.
All right. I think. Shit. What was the question again?
The question was,
This is what happens when you drink Hennessy and lemonade and then you take a fucking break. But basically,
we're all fucked right now.
Yeah. Osamoje, rephrase the question.
You're gonna edit this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll probably leave this because
sometimes we leave it, so you might hear yourself saying we're gonna edit this, right?
Yeah, but we're like, yeah, and then don't fucking do
we
it.
just edit fuck ups, but we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Because I was thinking about the the question too. Like my mind's on 10,000 right now.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think the main question was just how do you balance being a Black man in America when it comes to your emotional health and emotional well-being without coming off as a Drake nigga?
Yeah.
I love how you say that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that question right there in itself is kind of problematic too. Because what's wrong with being a Drake nigga, right? What's wrong with being in touch with your emotions and talking about your hurt and how you've been vulnerable and how that has worked against you at times. You know what I'm saying? it's so funny because we you know, everyone says, oh, don't be a Drake nigga, or you know, we have all the Drake jokes, right?
I love Drake.
But Drake stays at the top of the charts, right?
I'm saying
because
that ain't never a lie.
Niggas be listening to him on the low.
Facts, right?
On
Because,
the low, okay?
Facts. Because he's conveying thoughts and emotions that a lot of us are afraid to confront or even articulate.
So why do you think you're afraid, though? Why do you think, well, not you specifically, but males in general, black males in general, why do you feel like they're afraid?
Okay, because the perception of being weak, right? It's already like, black masculinity is a very, very, masculinity period is a very fragile concept, right? It's so delicate. It's very delicate, and it's very easily disrupted. And so extreme attempts are taken to preserve the integrity of masculinity, right? To the extent of the degradation. That
was actually right. You said it right.
Degradation and the disrespect of other men and women, right? So with that being said, I think it's so important to just be aware and be comfortable and be okay with who you are. Be okay with being vulnerable. Be okay with being transparent. Be okay with being hurt and expressing that, like, dang, my feelings were hurt when you said or did this, right? And stop masking and hiding behind the pain, right? Yeah. Because, you know, I heard a quote, when niggas hurt, niggas hoe.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, I ain't never heard that. But
that ain't nothing but the truth, though.
You know what I'm saying?
And so niggas is not, it's unisex.
And I don't really like using that word, you know what I'm saying? But like,
you do a lot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's okay. God forgives us because we feel bad.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just embracing some bullshit that has been dealt.
Yeah. So when, you know,
people
people hurt, people hoe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is a better translation.
So I think it's trying to find healthy ways to confront that hurt and trying to, you know, be in touch with your emotional side. There's nothing wrong with it. I think, in fact, it takes a certain type of strength to recognize and realize that, like, certain things make me feel this way. Certain things make me feel good. Certain things make me feel bad. And understanding why they make you feel bad, right? And sometimes that requires a very introspective perspective that a lot of us don't want to take.
And within the black community, this is a reoccurring theme for me, just because this is somewhat of my pet peeve. Like, how do you feel about, like, in the black community, we have a perceived way of how we act, which is aggressive or angry or rude, or, you know, like the man is holding us like down. Ghetto. Yeah, like.
But is it any more aggressive than our counterparts in other communities, right? Is it any more ambitious than other, you know what I'm saying? It might be expressed differently, but those same intentions are kind of present in other communities, you know what I'm saying? Like, I live in Miami, and like, you have a very high demographic of people that originate from, you know, Latin and Caribbean countries, and with that being said, like, they're very, very animated when they speak or when they talk or during business transactions. And it's not really that, like, you know, no one ever says like, oh, that's ghetto, or it's like no, they're just very passionate and they're very present and they're very attentive, and it's like, they're not trying to, you know, they're not looking to be finessed, or, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I'm going kind of.
I kind of wonder like what that, because for them it's like passionate, but for that connotation for black people, I wonder, because the thing is, we were overpowered like when we were back in the slave days and even generations after that. So how do we come off as the aggressors? Other people come off as the.
You're right.
It's like we were taken over, basically, essentially. Like,
and it's almost like all these years later, it's still an attempt to kind of reclaim and redefine our own narrative, and like, yo, I don't, it's you know, almost essentially out of fear, right? Like, I don't ever want to feel that helpless or as powerless as maybe my ancestors did, and like, and so we overcompensate in some aspects. But I think we're stepping into an age now where like, we're here and we're trying to redefine the narrative of the black man or the black woman, right? And so you see like the proliferation of you know, of African American women and men into uncharted territories. You know, I like to really like highlight Issa Rae, right? And how like she's really like, man, she's killing it, man. Like she's killing it, like, you know. And I think given the political climate, and how much resistance has been like, you know, met with, you know, like so much resistance as far as like towards the quote unquote others, you know, the immigrants, the Muslims,
the
and like
the minorities,
you know the different,
right?
It's kind of sparking up this like this resilience, you know, in people that like, nah, we matter, we're here, and this is why we matter. And it's it's so funny because it's spilling into like almost every facet of life. You know, politics isn't just in Washington DC, it's now on like the football field,
right,
like in the basketball courts and the places
which it was not before.
Exactly.
People think that Black Lives Matter people, because I would consider myself Black Lives Matter. I'm just not protesting because I have shit I need to do, in all honesty. But I feel like Black Lives Matter people, they're talking about Black Lives Matter. They're not saying that like everything about Trump is evil. It's the fact that you're invoking this negative, racist, like evil emotion in these hateful people, and you're targeting places. And
you're making them seem like it's okay. You're making it a commonplace.
That's the problem. It's like you're inciting these terrible people. There's a reason why when Trump got elected, the KKK came out in public.
Exactly.
There's a reason.
Out there marching.
You need to be. What he should have did was did a press conference right after and been like, "That's not right. I don't fuck with those people. But that's terrible." He didn't. He even said
lies, bro.
Yeah,
he can't say lies.
Even at one point, remember he was like defending two different opposing groups. I think it was Black Lives Matter and KKK, or KKK and something else. And he was saying
some good people in there.
Like,
in the
nigga,
KKK.
no, man, nigga, chill. Like, no, if you're KKK, you're not a good person essentially. And like,
because
I know there's
gonna be
people who listen to it, and like the cool thing is like we really did have people from other countries listening to us, like people in Ireland and Russia and Sweden who don't even understand like the full basis of what we're talking about. But it's like you cannot be on the side of these people even if you're not directly saying like, yes, like I like these people. You don't have to. You're inciting these people, and you know that these people look up to you. Like, you know that you're targeting cities where you know that these people are. And it's like, even though you're saying, yeah, Black Lives Matter, you're promoting the death of Black people.
Right.
There's police officers that are in the KKK. They just are not being publicized. And I'm waiting because it's social media era. So obviously at some point their faces are going to come out and da 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 da. It hasn't happened
some
yet.
Already have.
Yeah, some have come out.
Like one or two.
Because you put all their faces out. They're walking out talking about they hate Black people. Put their faces out. Let them lose their jobs and learn that it's not right to be the way they are.
They won't lose their
it's
job.
like
They'll
they won't.
leave.
I saw a quote it was saying that all these Black people are being brutalized, and I'm probably misquoting it terribly, but
you're paraphrasing
it. But there's just all this mistreatment of Black people by police officers, and they were saying how there wasn't any repercussions for their actions, and they were saying, well, the government and everything is run by angry white men, like white men that have this agenda to not really take into account other races and the betterment of these other races because it's not them.
It's not just angry white men, it's angry old white men, which means that when they were our age, they were talking shit to Black people.
You know what's interesting is when I took a policy class during my master's program, my policy teacher every day, when we would talk politics and all this stuff like that, he would always say, who's your audience, you guys? Who's your audience? And he would point at himself, and he'd say, I'm your audience. Older, white, rich men. So you need to think in terms of me.
Yep.
And he was like, once you guys start thinking in the heads of me, then you will pass this class because policy is built on people like me.
Thank you.
Jesus.
And as much as I hated statements like that, it's the hard reality of the situation. Definitely got an A in that class. But like, I know, right? But it's true. And he was the first person to lay it out in the open. And
transparent.
Me and him, we had some issues later, but you know, like he really laid it out. And that's the sad truth. And until the dynamics change, until we start getting more and more people of color in our government to speak for us and vouch for us and advocate on every part of being a person of color in America, is gonna keep being that situation.
And I think kids didn't even know they could be president until Obama. So it's like the kids who were growing up in Obama's ages, those are the politicians, which is unfortunate because we're older than them. Which means that we're going to be older than them
and
when they finally get into the
voting. For shit that doesn't matter in our lives, because like you're going to pass away by the time these laws like go into effect, or will have like any sort of significance on how things are done.
Our kids will do better, but it's like that's the thing that kind of sucks.
They should cut off the fucking voting age. Like old people shouldn't be allowed to do that shit.
Like
if you're like over 70, sorry, cut
That's
off.
fucked up.
I think.
Nice.
I think.
I'm like, that's fucked up,
So
but
it's
okay.
just- yo, I
I
think.
feel
I'm down.
it. How long you gonna be alive after 70?
Nah, I think-
Realistically. Especially with how health is in America. Y'all motherfuckers is unhealthy as fuck.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yikes.
I'm being brutally honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think about it. I think about it.
Yo, I think.
I'm down.
Since we talking about like politics and stuff like that, I think at the end of the day, I think this election has just really kind of reminded us that we need to do our part as far as like being civically engaged.
Right.
So not only taking parts in like federal elections, but the local elections,
Yeah.
right? Like what's happening in your
Nobody
local
does.
I need to
community.
get on the
I
local.
don't.
And that's the stuff that
We need to announce that on the show when there's a local
that's
election.
what affects you like immediately, like
Yeah. Them
immediately.
plastic bags went into effect real quick.
Real fast.
In
ASAP.
Cali.
Man,
It was
yeah.
literally the next day. We voted. Next day, plastic
Plastic
bags,
bags.
10 cents. So I went to Walmart like, what the fuck is this? Where my bag at, yo?
It's true. I remember I watched it. I was like, there was no like turnover time. They're
Yeah.
Y'all wasn't gonna put a sign up?
Y'all got the bags quick, but we still need a rec for the weed. I'm tripping. Like, come on, man.
Really?
Yeah.
We gotta wait till
Chill.
2018 for that?
Y'all
All
tripping.
right.
Y'all really tripping.
Oh, man.
But you know what's crazy? It's been a fucking year. This nigga has been president for a year.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, he
almost
got
a year.
elected
Oh,
in a
yeah,
couple
no,
of weeks
and-
from today.
Don't it feel like it was yesterday?
Yeah.
It's been a year. And
Yeah.
and it's like people still have
Got 3
hope and
more.
they're still wondering, why
Dang.
hasn't he
Got 3
been
more.
impeached? He probably not gonna get impeached.
He's not.
Sorry.
It's a long process to
Yeah.
impeach someone,
And so I see
long
it
and
as
expensive.
we only have 3 more years with this nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 years will go by.
I mean,
pretty
hopefully
quickly.
3 more years.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't make the same mistake
I mean,
twice.
yeah, exactly. If it happens a second term, hopefully I'm rich enough to leave this bitch. Cause
That's
You
why.
feel me?
You know what I told Ashley when he first got elected? I was like, honestly, the only way we can not get affected by him is to make money,
yeah,
That's it.
because
That's
we
true.
need to put ourselves in
He
the
cares
bracket
about
of
people
people
that
that
put
ain't our
ourselves on the
color,
same level.
unfortunately.
Yeah, we got to put ourselves on the same level as those people who
So
made
they
the votes.
so they consider us so we get treated. That's
I mean,
fucked
they're
up,
never
right?
gonna treat us equal.
no,
Yeah,
But financially,
we
we'll
gonna
be
do
equal
it.
counterparts.
That's the thing, and,
but you
and,
still gonna get treated like you stole something when you go to a
Exactly.
nice store.
Exactly.
and I always
Let me roll up in a Bentley and see if I don't get questioned on if it's my car.
right get pulled
Right.
over, and I always reiterate that I'm like, my goal is to make it to where black people don't have to deal with this shit, at least on that level, because personally, from my personal experience, I don't deal with like inequality when it comes to my race. I don't deal with wage inequality because I checked
No.
my wage and I was like, y'all paying me what y'all paying, like y'all paying what you guys pay for that.
You passed.
Yeah, it's like, so I haven't dealt with that yet, but I want to make it a system where that shit like really starts to diminish and doesn't really exist.
I think also it's very pivotal to like from a young age to like make sure people know their worth,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah, we talked on that.
And
Yeah.
like so moving forward, those expectations are like, nah.
Yeah.
Like I was taught from a young age that I'm royal, I'm noble,
Right.
Do
like
that shit.
and you will pay me. You will not give me a peasant's wage, like,
Right. I can be
Yeah.
president. I can be
Yeah.
more than president,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because that's the thing. I mean, obviously, a lot of people didn't think they could be president until
Yeah.
Barack, and they were like, oh,
Yo,
black
a lot
people
of people
can be president.
Yo, a lot of people didn't think they could be president until Trump became president too. It was like,
Right.
Yeah.
yo, man's really,
Man.
yo, this man's was really out here
Man.
talking about sexual assault.
Yes,
Yes.
grabbing
True.
pussies, man.
Yo, so
Nigga
like,
colluding with Russia.
not, shit.
Colluding. I love
Do
that
not-
but
word.
the
Collude.
talk-
Great word.
That
Man.
talk about worth, like that really like speaks volume to me right now, because I feel like, for example, like I feel like my brother, he doesn't know his worth as a black man, and I think that's because he's been told everything aside from what he's worth.
Yeah.
And me and my sisters, we have to have these constant conversations with him about his value at work, his
Mhm.
value in a relationship, his value as a black man. And
Mhm.
we also have to check him because sometimes he's a little too friendly. Sometimes he's a little too out there. Sometimes he's laughing too loud. And I'm literally looking at him like, don't bring attention to yourself.
Right.
Yo, that
They're
stuff
already-
sucks.
And that really
Yeah.
sucks.
It's
And
so
it's
crazy.
sad because he's 6'2" or whatever.
He's
Yeah.
huge.
So
yeah,
he's
super
tall.
tall.
And
yeah.
so I tell him too, I'm like, you have to understand, like any guy, any let me say any sideways police officer, because we all know there are some out there that aren't sideways.
Right.
But any sideways police officer that tries to approach you, your height is immediately
Yep.
an intimidating
His
factor.
His
skin,
hand
his
gonna be
skin
on his
color,
gun.
his skin
Exactly.
color
His
is
hand gonna be on
intimidating.
his
So I'm
Right.
like, your
Too
color is
many
one, your height
factors.
is another, and then they might even question your charming personality. You got to
Yeah.
get it
They
together.
might think, yeah.
And it's sad because those are all the things that make him such a great
Make
guy.
him, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because everything picks at it, like literally at work, I keep telling him, I'm like, you're worth so much more than what they're offering you. Like, don't let them sideswipe you, because you are doing things. You're bringing new material. You're like, you can copyright some of the stuff you're doing. And you're doing it for free. So you need to demand a higher wage. You need to demand a promotion. You shouldn't be doing managerial work at an associate's pay.
Me right now.
Like, you shouldn't be doing that.
I'm saying.
I've been telling my manager, I need more money.
So, bitch,
I
get
told
that
her
raise.
3 different times on one phone call. I need more money. So
yeah, it's like you
out.
kind of have to know your worth, especially being black. And the thing is, I've noticed, because I'm like, definitely as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna ask for a raise at my job. It's like you kind of have to like know your worth and not be like, know your worth as a black person. You need to just know your worth.
You're right.
As a person.
You're right.
Yeah, because
Reality.
you start to, you, even as a black person, I can recognize that in my head I will classify myself as a woman or classify myself as a black person, and it's like, no, I'm gonna classify myself as America classifies a white man. Like, I'm going to get that. And like, this is not something I like to tell people, but like I tell Ashley all the time, like I like to quit if I'm not getting what I want.
Nina fucking quits jobs.
I leave. I leave and I find something better, and I've gotten lucky so far. Not saying it's always gonna fucking happen, but it's like you should not accept something lower for a period of time. Obviously, accept it. You know, it can move you up the ladder. But for an extended period of time, like, you need to know your worth.
And I think it's key what you said. Always vocalize it. Like, if you need more money, say you need more money. If you want a promotion, say you want it. And that's one thing that I say to my brother. I'm like, if you think you're worth more and you think you can do better, ask them what they need from you so you can achieve that.
Right.
And ask your employees what they make. Not your employees, your other people, your peers. Your peers. Because I ask, like, it's such a big secret of like your salary, and it's like, if you tell me your salary, what the fuck am I gonna do with that?
I don't understand that either.
What am I gonna do with it besides know it?
Too at work. Sometimes
they don't want to tell you,
and I'm like, I don't understand why I would be secretive with you, because I'm already
because
here.
they know they
like,
make more.
Whose job am I gonna take?
Because clearly they make more.
But what does that matter?
For being white?
It comes off. It comes off as bragging sometimes too, because like there's certain things that I'll omit even though I'm not bragging, just to not seem like I'm not bragging.
But if I ask you, how are you bragging?
You might have some people that be like really kind of humble with it though, like
But a lot of the time it's not
I'm not
humble.
making big banks, like, so it's like
humble is
I'm probably,
okay. But if you're just straight up blatantly hiding it, like, I'll tell people, for example, when people come to me asking me what I do and how much I make, at first I'll be like, I definitely make a good amount, like I can live comfortably. That's me being humble. But then if they want
you wildin'.
What? I was like, what?
So what I'm getting for Christmas?
I know, like, bitch.
But no, but
I've been looking at this case pay bag.
If the person asks further, okay, but what exactly do you make? I'm gonna tell you, because now I went the humble route, but you want specifics. So I'm gonna give you specifics.
I'm with you.
What am I hiding? What'd you say?
I'm with you. Got red bottoms on.
No, I don't.
I really got a Louis wallet.
I broke my neck. I said.
You hella look.
I had to look. She don't got red bottoms. We humble. We Nigerian.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do that. We will though, because
that's
the thing about being Nigerian is like our parents came from poverty, like poverty, like poverty. I don't know I don't know where your parents came from, but it's like I remember my mom. I mean, my grandpa has like 1 million kids, so it's like he really does. Like,
how many wives he got?
He over his lifetime he had 3, I believe.
My grandfather had like 4.
Like I think one of them wasn't a wife, but he still has children by him. So my grandpa has somewhere between like 12 and 16 kids.
Polygamy.
She had 3 baby daddies.
You
my
know,
grandma, so.
on the side note of polygamy, okay, so they said the Bible says you can have more than one wife if you can take care of them equally, which is this is the thing. These men are like, you can have more than one. So that's why I don't. But y'all can't take care of 3 women, so y'all need to chill out.
Fam, I can barely handle myself.
Yeah, right. Like, I can't take care of myself.
I can't have no kids.
I really can't.
But if I was on some like King Solomon like type shit, then I might have like a whole like house.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to stretch my vagina that much, but it's like,
that's exhausting. Like to like.
Yeah,
all those
that's
birthdays,
why you need more wives.
All those birthdays, all those favorite colors, like that's
all the questions you gotta answer.
Can we have
kids
multiple
ask
husbands? Like, y'all are helpful.
Yeah, equality.
Y'all help a lot. So can we have more than one? And then adoption, and like we'll have 1 kid by each, and then like adopt
1 for each husband.
And then, exactly, and then I have people to help me because I'm about to be working. That's another thing is like, women are expected to be the ones like working in the household, and I feel like it's harder when you're a black woman because unfortunately we have probably a large epidemic of like men
single
not
moms.
living, single mom households.
You know,
single
the single
dad
mom
household.
car, the Nissan, she a nurse, her son is her king. Have y'all seen that meme?
Yes,
Yes.
her son is her
No,
king.
everybody know a black person like that. Everyone.
Yo, my mom drives a Sequoia.
Sequoias are like the token Nigerian car.
Yeah,
You have a Sequoia too, don't you?
Toyota, or Mercedes.
Exactly. Like
We were just talking about that because you had he has a Mercedes for his
Yes,
house,
I
right?
was like, I know what house this is because the Mercedes
This
is
Mercedes right there.
Yeah.
I was like, I got a Lexus made by Toyota, and my next car is a Mercedes.
Bang.
I was like, I know
Gotta
how my
rep.
Nigerians roll.
Gotta rep.
Exactly.
Gotta rep.
I've been around them for a while.
Oh my gosh! So I feel like we had a great conversation,
Yeah.
and
This
I feel
is
like
pretty cool.
I just had a really good time.
Me too.
I hope you
It's
guys had
always
a really good
great.
time too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just family in the building. It's like 3 UCRs. I'm over here,
3
Cal State.
Nigerians. You know,
Like
the
3 Nigerians,
balance.
yeah, 3. You know, balance it out. You know, we're young and getting it. Everybody here is young
A
and
little
getting it.
not Puerto Rican, fucking Panamanian.
Hey, shout out to
really
Zay.
And Jamaican in the
Wow.
back
Zay's
on the
out
campus.
here,
Zay.
y'all. Zay's out here.
And then there's me, the black country girl.
Afro
Just
Latinos,
Yeah.
I hear you.
Man. Okay, so just to wrap it up.
the look at God.
Oh yeah,
Look at God,
thank
look
God
at
for reminding me.
God.
Okay, so who should I start?
I
and
can
go this
start
way?
because
Okay.
I already said it in the car,
Okay.
low key.
Yes.
So
What is
OJ,
this?
OJ
Okay.
and I, we go back. This is the Look at God segment, you know, you guys, where you say something you feel that the universe did for you or God did for you, if you believe in that.
Mhm.
So back when OJ and I said high school, didn't I? In college,
Mhm.
I was saying, we were talking about this in the car. I had a really,
Oh, yeah.
really, really bad day back in them depressed days, bruh.
Everybody has them.
And OJ and I were in ASP. It's African Student Programs. That's where all the black people met up. Like, it was my favorite place to go every day after I discovered it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in there, we were talking, and it was probably like finals week, midterms week, some shit. I was stressed. Capital S. You know, all caps. Everything was in caps. I was stressed. And OJ and I were talking. I don't even know how we started talking. We were just sitting on the couch next to each other. And I was just like, you know what? It'd be better if I wasn't here right now. I was like, I'd rather not be here right now. And OJ was like, what do you mean? Like, school-wise? I was like, no, like, period. Like, if I was not here, that would be so much better. Like, it would be better just not to exist. And OJ was like, nah. Like, he shut it down
fam.
so fast.
Yeah, like, nah, fam, what you mean?
And, like, Nina was saying, like, to him it might have been something small, but to
Right.
me it was something on a larger scale, because
Yeah.
I was like, all right, somebody actually cares a little bit. Like,
Of course.
you know, like, he's trying to be there and support. Like, I'm real stressed out, and I don't know, it just really helped me get through that day,
You
because
never
that
know
was
how-
one of them lowest days I
Yeah,
had.
and you never know what type of impact that can make on somebody. That can actually stop. Not saying that you were going to do something, but that
Oh,
can
yeah,
actually
no.
stop somebody from actually doing
Committing
what they were
suicide,
about
you know?
to do. You know.
Yeah. Or
So-
encourage someone to do something, right? To
Right.
make a
Yeah.
positive change.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because sorry, go ahead.
no, I think it's just important to like to speak life into people,
Mhm.
right? Because like I think we live in a society in a time where like it's so easy to be consumed by darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally like I think we should be like advocates and diplomats and ambassadors of love and life, you know what I'm saying? And just like speak love and life into everyone that we, you know, come across, man, cuz like again, hurt people, you know what I'm saying? We don't really
Right.
know where they've come from or what they've been through.
Mhm.
And you know, I think it's just important to like, you know, be a messenger of the light.
Yeah.
Messenger of that
All right.
positivity.
And I definitely got that from OJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now look at you know.
Because, fuck, I was ready to just risk it all that day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
school really does that.
Yeah.
too.
Don't be
does.
stressing,
I had
man.
like a
School.
10-page paper due. I had to study for a midterm.
You was always studying, man.
Always.
Yeah.
I would be in ASP studying. Like, that's how people knew how much I studied.
Yeah,
I want
it's
you-
like that.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
she's over there sitting in the cut. I'm with you. You studied what, psychology?
In undergrad, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for my master's, I did social work.
Were you really stressing?
I was stressing when I had to take statistics.
Yeah,
That's not
statistics
it,
is
because
trash.
like,
I mean,
psych was
That was
psych was interesting. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it was more
easy
so
to
you would feel
apply.
involved. Like, neuroscience, there were so many technical facts that you needed to remember just to succeed. And, like, you literally needed to know the whole anatomy of the brain. Even if you never took neuroanatomy, there was courses where you needed to know the anatomy of the brain, the way the pathways work, the way reflexes work, the way your fear response works, the way, like,
you swallow, the way you breathe. Like, you needed to know everything. You needed to know the development of the spinal cord to the adult spinal cord. Like, you needed to know from the embryo to the human. It was a lot.
I took 2 neuro classes. I think I barely skid by, like, barely.
Did you take CBNS 106?
I don't know the name now, but
probably.
Intro
to neuroscience?
Probably.
That was
it was intro. It was.
It's so funny when people took that one and like, oh, it's so hard. I'm like, bruh.
No, I took
that,
that, and it was probably like halfway through the semester. I was like, I might have been intrigued at the beginning, but I'm out.
Now it's fucked.
Nah, bruh.
Then you get to the visual system, and it's all those crossovers. And
yeah,
the LG
that's
and
where
the
they lost me. That's where they lost
nucleus,
me.
And you're just like, huh?
You're gonna confuse a lot of people.
Yeah.
People gonna be like, what's this bitch talking about? Like, not that she's a bitch, but what is she talking about? Who wants to go next on the Look at God?
I'm that bitch.
I'm trying to still figure out what my Look at God is. I mean, I have
OJ, you got one. Muche, you got one.
I'm trying to think of a different one, because now that you mention it, I keep piggyback riding on like different times where I've met OJ and I've had Look at God moments with him, but you already said one.
Just
so
say one. He here. You got it.
It's a blessing.
There are like 2 that stand out. One of them, which I was trying to remember because it got overpowered by the most recent one, but I think the one before was, I think it was like my dad was going home, and I'm pretty sure I had an attitude at track practice.
Home as in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I had an attitude at track practice, and you just like took the time to be like, Muche, you good? And you didn't come at it from like with an attitude,
just reaching out.
Yeah, because on that day it was like Michelle was like my bodyguard, because Michelle does that. Like, she'll be my bodyguard when I'm pissed off. To this day, she's still that person. Love her. And so I remember Michelle was kind of like diverting certain people that she knew would piss me off, but then she had to step away, and you just came by and you're like, you good? And I was like, I mean, I'm okay. You were like, no, are you good? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. But it just made me stop and be like, am I good? You have a lot to be thankful for. You're good. Like, this is temporary. Your dad's going to be back in about 3 months to visit. Like, you're good. Yeah. And then the most recent one was just at, like, Joe and Emmy's party. Like, how it was raining. I was finna just walk outside by myself. And you were like, nah, let me walk you out. You held the umbrella and everything. And I was like,
how nice of you.
Right? All good things. And I didn't realize how late it was. I didn't think anything of it because I live like 2 exits away. So I'm not thinking anything. But after I got in my car and you left, in my head I was like, wow, like that could have easily gone sideways anywhere, but the fact that he just wanted to make sure I got to my car safely, like that can't.
Look at you blessing people's lives and shit.
It's like, I remember shit like interactions that we've had.
Exactly,
so it's a good
it means
thing.
you're a nice person.
Yeah, because you've even counseled me before, which is crazy. Like, I've talked to him about Rashad before, and that's like.
Rashad is her boyfriend, guys.
Like, we were at the gym, we were just talking about it. I think Rashad and I had like just broken up about something, and like he really like just counseled me on it. I was just like,
I think I remember that. Like,
the whole church thing.
Yeah,
and I just had a whole new outlook on life, and I was just like, okay, OJ, thank you, bro.
Yeah,
like,
and then she's probably gonna get engaged like within the next year or
so. Can we not? Please?
It's gonna happen. Everybody's getting engaged from UCR. Have you noticed?
Everybody.
Damn. Like, Cal State Fullerton is like, boop, boop. The UCR's like, so many people are getting engaged from that
train. It's like one, now the next. It's like different carts on a train.
And everybody asked me, oh, you next? Whoa.
You what?
Oh, no. All the GBS is engaged now, bro.
Yes.
One by one.
Oh, yes.
That like literally everyone.
No more savages.
There's like 3 that are
player card turned in.
3 left?
3, like about 3, that I could think of. Yeah.
GBS
about to break.
GBS getting married.
Okay, really quick side note. I have had the most like ratchet thought of like Rashad and I's engagement video.
No.
Like, like you start out and you do the normal video with like the cute music and whatnot, and then Gucci Gang comes on. We have a money gun. And just, like, like,
and you gotta have a grill in your mouth.
Yeah, and I'm just like squatting, doing the nigga pose and whatnot. I've just been having that thought in my head because I'm like, I don't want to be like everybody else.
Have Eze photography, guys. He's our videographer.
He has the vision that we trusted, just like Zay.
Have him do, like those are the 2 visions. Have him do that. Nigga, have you do a Gucci gang? Looking like Lil Pump in the video.
I already looked up the money guns on Amazon. I'm not even.
How much are they?
This is a problem.
How much are they?
They're like $70. It's a problem.
Really?
I didn't even trip about the price. I was like, I'm about to order it right
now. If
they
got a warranty, I'm finna get it. Like, try and break on me.
I can't.
Try and break. I got the Amazon warranty. I got that Prime.
I always buy that. I bought it on that fuck ass lamp that was playing us, the ring light that was playing us earlier. I got a warranty.
Yeah, run that warranty. Don't try it. Don't try it. Okay.
Who gotta do they look at God?
Us 2. We still haven't yet. I haven't even thought of mine yet. Do you have one?
OJ, you got one, bro?
You have one?
Do I got one?
Look at God.
We'll have
Wow,
one.
look
We
at
went to
God.
college. We all did. I be talking like I don't. This is why people think I'm ignorant.
It's okay.
It's okay.
We're young and getting
It's
it.
all right.
Look at God. Wow, that's a lot. God is so good for real.
Yeah.
I'm saying. Ain't he?
I probably would just kind of like reflect on some of the trials and tribulations I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really understand why I was going through them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just kind of being here now in this space and be able to kind of like vocalize and think like, you know, some of the my thoughts and perceptions on certain things, I feel like I wouldn't have been able to kind of like have that understanding had I not gone through some of those like trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. Also, it's incredible to be here and like see like you guys are really like so ambitious, and it's inspiring for us. Like, you know, you guys got this equipment, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, they dropped a lot of money on this equipment.
Like, speak on
yeah. And it's like y'all really are like students. Y'all have like all the you know, the demands of life. You know, you got work tomorrow morning. You got you in your master's program, you're getting ready for this, and like you dealing with all types of
bullshit in my family, because my family crazy.
I was gonna say at work.
Work, family,
you know
everything is crazy. I get no calm.
Yeah.
Life.
And
Life happens.
Regardless, you guys aren't allowing that to deter you from your dreams. Look at Osamoje out here, masters in social work,
being humble as shit,
being
humble.
Yeah, man. So.
All of her money, we.
So it's just it's incredible to see like where everyone's kind of like going and growing, and just like we haven't even touched like.
I know. We're 25, 26.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room, well, Zay is 22, so he's booming young.
Yeah.
But we 25, 26.
My goal is to be set by 30, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Say it again.
But just, you know, aside from ourselves, the kind of impacts we'll have like in our communities and like essentially globally, right? Because we live in this like society, like, you know, this, you guys are making this podcast, and who's to know who's gonna be like
we
consuming
already got
it.
overseas listens.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's
right?
crazy. That shit's
You
crazy.
know? So,
Shout out.
For real. So look at God.
Yeah.
I felt like that bitch when I looked at the comments. I was like, what?
I said, you from Dublin, Ireland, Anita?
Yeah.
What's up, my girl? What's up, my nigga?
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought of my look at God because it just happened yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was 2 days ago. I found out I got into Pepperdine, Oxford. So it's like, I think I look at, that's crazy, because I was just like, I've just plotting this whole time, like, oh my God, at this time I'm gonna register. I need to get in. I've never been to London. I need to go. Like, oh my God, like and also
emailed your professor about walking out early.
Yeah, I told my professor, I said, if you can't make arrangements for me, I will walk out of class. And I walked out of class. And everybody looked at me, and I
not play.
Yeah,
no, she doesn't.
It's not a game.
She be on my head.
It's not a game. And it's just because I just have goals, and I want things to be a certain way, and I know that comes off as aggressive, or what we like to call assertive.
Yes, thank you.
I've always been aggressive.
Yeah, but
people.
I was just like, you know, I'm gonna walk out, like, I'm gonna register. I don't care. Like, and the crazy thing is the system went down. That's how many people were on the site registering for Oxford.
She was texting me stressed.
I was on my cell phone and 3 tabs on my computer trying to register for this program. Like, the whole thing was crashing, and I got in. Thank Jesus Christ. And so I'm just like, and the thing is, obviously, it's like you have to pay your deposit and and all the paperwork, and obviously, but I'm not gonna fuck up on that because I really want to go. So I look at that as a look at God segment. Also, I like it because we've actually like connected with people in London, and we already have someone set up to talk to when we're out there. So I'm just like, oh my God,
I just can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and then Ashley's like, man, nigga, I'll come out there too if you get in. So Ashley's coming out there. So it's like, it's cool because I'll be able to study at Pepperdine London for a week. What
time frame?
April 29th to May 5th.
Well,
that's when I booked.
That's when Ashley's going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be there.
Taking off work.
I'm gonna be there from April 22nd to May 5th. So all the people out in London listening, I will be there from April 22nd to May 5th. So we're gonna be there I'm gonna be there for 2 weeks. I'm gonna study for the first week. I am gonna study. I have to study finance.
And then when I come out there, we fucking off.
Yeah, we're turning up. We need to find, where the fun is and stuff like that. So that's super look at God. Like,
whoa,
and
sorry, May what?
April 22nd to May 5th. But Ashley's coming April 29th or something like that.
Yeah,
April
I'm coming 29th, 28th or 29th.
Yeah, so around there.
I might be out there.
Really?
Yeah, my cousin's getting married May 6th. So I'll probably be there like May 3rd, May 2nd.
So we're gonna to function. So you guys look up for the blog post of us functioning in London, because the shit's finna be lit.
I'm so excited.
And it's a look at God in itself, because I wasn't able to do study abroad in undergrad. I couldn't afford it. There was no way.
Yeah.
No possible way I could afford that. But it's like, God is good, because first of all, I never thought I would even get the opportunity again to study abroad. I thought it was just an undergrad thing. So to be in graduate school and being like, wow, I get to study abroad. Plus, we're Nigerian, so we all know we have family in London. Like, you know,
thank you.
Given. Like, we all got family out there, so it's going to be crazy. Osamoje is going to try to come out, so it's like, oh my God, it's going to be Nigeria. So, yeah, that's my Look at God segment. So, let's wrap up the show.
Yeah,
thank you so
let's
much,
end it.
OJ, for being here with us today. Let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
On Instagram at Osamoje. That's OSAMOJE.
Ladies, check it out.
If you single, you want something to look at. If you in a relationship, go to this.
If you in a relationship, you don't want to cheat on your boyfriend, just go on his page and just
see what you can get.
I was about to say something real bad. Let me.
You was like, get your rocks off, masturbate, rub one out real quick.
I can't.
It's okay. You know what happens. Anyway,
so I took the humble route. He's like, I'm flattered.
I'm flattered.
Yeah, that's about it as far as social media goes. I'm not really on IG. I mean, I'm not on Twitter or Facebook like that.
Okay. Say your IG one more time.
Osamoje. That's OSAMOJE.
All right, check him out. Check him out.
We're gonna link him below too.
Yeah. And Osamoje, throw your social media out there again one time.
For Instagram, it's untethered, with one underscore, I believe, and then on Snapchat, it's Osamoje, which is UHMOOCHAYEE.
Yes, and we'll link all of that below. Like we said, we're going to figure out that dumbass troubleshooting with Apple not showing the description on SoundCloud, because how is Apple the one failing and everyone else isn't?
It's been 2 years.
That's trash.
Them motherfuckers said, fuck it.
So you guys make sure to check our website also. We are YAGIP.com. You know, check us out on Instagram at YAGI_podcast. Check me out on Instagram. This is Nina at XNinaCX.
And I'm sitting_Lotus on Instagram.
Yes.
That's about like the only place I really be at.
Yeah.
You know, other stuff I keep private sometimes.
And the crazy thing, like, remember, we're on iTunes. You know, you want to get us booming. You want to get us on the new and noteworthy. You know what I'm saying?
Subscribe.
Because we are new and we are noteworthy, my nigga.
Big facts.
So rate us. Leave reviews. Subscribe. Tell us what, and, you know, email us, Ashley and Nina Pod @gmail.com. Let us know how you feel. Let us know what you're thinking. Leave your social media if you want to shout out. If you have something great to say, please, you know, say it. And we have that contacts on our website too. So we're going to link all of this below. Make sure to check out our Instagram. Make sure to check out OJ's Instagram. You know, make sure to let us know how you feel, because we're young and getting it. We finna get it. All right.
Yep.
All right. So this is the end of the episode. Thank you guys for being here. We turned the fuck up in the studio.
Turn up, show out.
Man, and we finna go get some vegan food. All right, y'all. Bye.